You work with leaders, so we could give our audience a context. As you work with leader, we know they're so busy, they don't have any time, that admin taking care of their calendar. How do you make them focus?
Yeah, I mean, the brain training helps. So we have things people can listen to. And I'm a huge fan of habit stacking. And then I have techniques, even if you are already a leader doing something great in the world. Everyone that you work with will and listens to this is that. You already have your book in.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the I Will Aim podcast. Our topic for today is empowering leaders to become best-selling authors and in-demand speaker in less than a year. Here's the shocking truth. 97% of the leaders have a book inside them that could revolutionize the industry, but only 3% ever write their book. Today, we're flipping the script and showing you how to join the elite 3%, how to turn your expertise into best-selling book and six-figure speaking career. With my guest, Sara Connell. Hey, Sara, how are you doing today?
I'm fabulous. Thanks for having me, Will.
I'm excited about this conversation. How about we kick it off with a quick introduction?
Sure. So I have the incredible gift of doing what you just shared, which is working with leaders who are mission-driven, who have a methodology, a story, a way of seeing the world that is going to change the game. And I get to help them write a best-selling book that puts a flag in the ground, really establish that greater industry leadership, recognition, authority, credibility that books do. Build that into a speaking platform, a wider audience. And of course, we always want to think about ROI, right? Monetizing the mission, as we say. So that's what I have the gift of doing. I'm on my 7th book. I have 6 consecutive bestsellers, and I've worked with over 1,000 incredible leaders and gotten to be on Oprah and the New York Times, all kinds of fun things. And that's what I love helping other people do.
Sara, take us back to the beginning. What was the pivotal moment when you realize you need to transform and do the things you're doing today?
Yeah, well, it's very clear in my mind, Will, because I was a kid who wanted to be a writer. I loved reading books. I liked writing stories. And I thought that the way you knew you were allowed or destined to do that is that a teacher would take you aside and tell you were special, because that's what happened in movies and in books. And when that didn't happen, particularly for me, I thought, oh, I must not be good enough. Now, this was subconscious, right? So I didn't understand that's what I was doing. And maybe someone listening has had this experience where you sort of give someone else the power of deciding what you're capable of. So I went and majored in English literature and read other people's books and worked in an advertising agency. And I used to say unfortunately, but maybe it's fortunately, because that advertising agency I went there in the height of the Me Too era. So it was really toxic, very traumatic, abusive. And I spiraled into a pretty serious mental and physical health crisis and an eating disorder. And I was in an airport bookstore feeling this dread, feeling this sense on some level in my soul that I knew if I kept going to this job, it would kill me. That's really on some level, it got really dark and really bad. And I found a book randomly in the Boston Airport bookstore. And I didn't have time to read the back. I grabbed it. It was a book called Holy Hunger by Margaret Bullitt Jonas. She's not famous. No one's really ever heard of that book. But I read it at the exact moment that I needed. And that one book I credit as saving my life. I read it in one night. By the time I finished, her story was different than my story, but it was a woman who experienced trauma. She shared how she got out, how she got well. And I just said, I'm leaving. I'm going to leave this job. I'm going to work on my health, and I'm going to find a way to pay this gift forward. And that's what I've done for the rest of my life. I've written, as I've said, multiple books myself. And then when I've had the gift and blessing of having some success with that, I created a framework to help other people be in the airport bookstore when the person they're here to serve is in their darkest day. That's really what it comes down to for me. It's a life-saving mission.
Being that you're doing such a life-giving and powerful transformation experience, how does you motivate yourself on a daily basis, right? Because sometimes it gets challenging because you have so much success and so much things going on. How do you motivate yourself and energize and give that energy to the people that you work with?
Oh, it's such a great question, right? Because we could sort of think, oh, it's not easy. Even on book 7, the writing's easier because I've developed that muscle. But finding the time, because I run a publishing company and our coaching consultancy where we're, helping develop our thought leaders. So I have a son who's entered high school. I'm 24 years into a wonderful marriage. I have a dog. I have parent. There's things like we all have things. So for me, it is so much about really committing, being so committed to a vision, making the vision bigger than fear, bigger than overwhelm, bigger than the to-do list, and prioritizing, because it's so much easier to zero the inbox, to return the email, to call the team member back, right? Instead of get the words on the page. I get it, right? So the thing that honestly, though, keeps me honest, if you will, and writing is the people I serve, because I'm coaching a book boot camp this week for leaders, and they all have a million other things to do. So I need to walk my talk, live the work is really what I like saying. So I live the work, and I do mindset work in the morning. I meditate. I clearly commit to my priorities with an accountability partner. All the stuff I teach, I do every single day. And that's the only way I've gotten those books written.
Well, that's so powerful because you're doing what you're telling people what to do. And I love the fact that you talk about vision. You could visualize it, it could motivate you to move forward. Being in the industry that you are right now, what was the single biggest barrier you have overcome in your journey to become the best-selling author 6 times?
Yeah, well, I think it's the same one that I hear over and over and over from the people that I get to coach, which is there is some mechanism in most of us that says, who wants to read my book? There's already so many books on my topic. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not Brene Brown, Tony Robbins, fill in the blank, right? And so we discount our own genius, our own value, our own the power of our voice to make a difference in the world. And so it's really overcoming those mindset issues, if we want to use that word, and in fact, it's so important. And the reason 97% of people don't write the book or get on the stage or do the TED Talk, this is what we coach people on, right? The reason they don't isn't because they're not talented, and it isn't because they can't find the time, because they can if it's important. It isn't because they don't have value. It's because they don't believe enough in the ability of their message to affect that change, to be that needed. And so I have created our entire coaching model, and I think we're the only ones in the world who do it this way, is a brain science-based approach. And what I mean by that is we work on the level of identity. Before someone even starts writing the book, what is that best-selling author, that top thought leader identity? What are the beliefs? What are the emotions? What are the habits? I have a whole framework for forging that identity. It's really the true self. But we have all this junk in the way. I know you know this well with the kind of amazing work you do here on this podcast and in your company. So it's really about, we use brain science all the time, all throughout the process, to release that imposter syndrome, time overwhelm. And when someone gets into that alpha theta, which is the genius zone brainwave state, or now there's gamma, which is the new thing I'm training our clients on. Gamma is the human potential. It's the kind of, the rest of the brain we thought we weren't using. And Tibetan monks who've meditated for many, many years go into gamma just so quickly, right away. Regular people, often it's teeny little bursts. But we can train our brains. And so I help train our clients and my own brain every day to be in that genius zone, in that peak performance, to start tapping into gamma, because that's where, what I call the downloads, that's the topic of my new book, that's where those big ideas come through. And it's where we can stretch time. It's that Einsteinian time idea that gets written about.
It's amazing. It's so scientific, but it's also impressive because there's a lot of breakthrough for those leaders that truly embrace that journey. We're talking about leaders. Do you have characteristic of leader that succeed in a program versus the one that don't quite make it?
Yeah, I honestly think it comes down to two coordinates. Number one, do you have a vision, like we talked about a few minutes ago, that burns? Like it's a calling for most of the people that end up wanting to take this journey and become a top author and speaker. There is a calling that they feel in their life and their heart to to contribute something to make a difference. It's not, oh, it's a bucket list or I want to be famous. None of the people I work with care about that, right? They're here for playing full out in the life we have on this planet at this time and contributing their big magic, whatever we want to call it, right? Their inner genius. And so I think one is that there's a vision that's burning bright. And the second, though, is ironically that you're willing to fake it till you make it. And what I mean by that is just to take the actions as if you believe it will be successful, as if you believe it's a needed book, as if you believe you belong on that red carpet circle at the TEDx stage. If we do that, I won't say if, right? When we do that, the results will happen. You will have the best-selling book, you will have the TEDx talk, you will make the impact, you'll reach people, you'll scale your revenue to 7 figures and more. You will, or people that are at 7 to 8, 9, whatever it is, the goals are. But it's being willing to just do it anyway when we don't believe either we're worthy or it's possible. I mean, it's all it takes is someone willing to take the action. So I don't even say coachable. It's almost like, are you willing to fake it and take the action? If so, you're going to win.
I love the fact that you talk about the vision again and taking the action. In many ways, it's believing in yourself.
Yes.
Having the conviction that your vision and your message makes sense. And that's why you're willing to walk the steps that the road's not paved. It's all gravel, right? There's no red carpet, but you're willing to believe. And that's the power I suppose you bring to them because of your experience and the success that you had, that they believe in you. And I think, thank you for helping people believe in themselves because that's the hardest part. I mean, that's the hardest part is learning to believe in yourself.
It's so true. Well, and I think of if people have watched the show Ted Lasso that, was popular for a few years here, I just always think of him if anyone's seen the show, he puts a big hand-painted sign, believe. And that's sort of the theme in the show, right? We've got to believe in your right will. I mean, the joke is fake it. It's kind of the back door to the brain. Then the logical, rational mind says, but I don't believe. It's like, okay, fine, we can pretend. But truthfully, that's what it is. It's believing that we're here for a reason. We have something to give.
My next question is around the process. You first help someone with their vision, visualizing the sort of building up from the core, and then they end up writing their book. How do you transition someone from writing the book to be a speaker?
Right.
They're two different things. It's harder.
They are. And some people love the speaking part and it's like, oh, writing a book. And then some people are the opposite, like, oh, the stage. And look, there's so many, my definition of speaking is an ecosystem that includes everything from what we are doing right now. Will, we're in a podcast conversation. This is speaking, right?
Yeah.
So podcasts, small group, community groups, all the way up through a big stage with thousands of people and in a live room. And especially now with so much virtual speaking, what I do is first, again, goes back to the vision. What is someone's unique speaking vision? If you said to me, Sarah, I'm going to do another book and I want to speak on big stages. I really want to be in front of many hundreds of thousands of people. And that's one vision. Someone else might say, I want to do a keynote at a corporation every month and get paid $25,000 every time I do it and bundle in consulting. So we have clients who are doing like $1 million a year speaking and doing consulting in corporations. That's how they make, but they needed the book. And here's what's wild. People choose speakers that are authors 80% more than experts without a book. So it's really important for people if you're listening and you want speaking to be a bigger piece of what you do versus, just people that know you and love you, have you come speak. If you want to be able to just be commissioned for speaking and chosen for those top speaking gigs, you're most likely going to need a book and a new book if what you want to speak on, you don't have a book on yet, right? That's the other thing. It's like, oh, now my topic has changed. I'm doing something different. The book is the flag in the ground. The book lets the HR person, the speaking booker know you're truly an expert. Warranted or not, right? That's how we do it in our world right now. So the transition from the book to speaking is, what lights you up? If Will, you're like, I love podcasts. Then we just focus on a podcast tour, right? Or I want those corporate keynotes, or I want the big entrepreneur conferences, or I want TEDx. So it's really each person's unique speaking vision. And then we have dialed in a methodology of pitching and Everyone hates that part, right? It's like, oh, now I got to reach out and, kind of cold call places. But we have a methodology that makes the pitch a love letter. And we focus on gratitude and making a mission bridge. So instead of thinking like, oh, that's me, I want to be on your stage, it's like, what is the way we're coming in service and generosity where we're on the same team as that organization or person, and we're there to add tremendous value. And so we craft pitches as love letters. It's a 6-step process that I teach. And it has been so fun for myself and the people in our community because it takes that dread of pitching, because you're really choosing to reach out. We don't even call it pitching anymore. You're doing outreach to organizations and people you truly admire, you respect. Like, Will, I didn't just come on the podcast. I listened to you, right? Like, consumed some of your thought leadership. I knew that we had value alignment. And when that's there, it's not a pitch anymore. It's a love letter. And you'll get a lot more yeses also.
Yes, definitely. And I love the fact that you help them transition from pitching to value proposition and how they connect with the company. Because that process of pivoting from one to the other is super powerful.
And think about, you said, Will, just the 97% of people say they have a book in them and won't ever write it. Well, it's the same, like 98% of people when they pitch to be on a podcast or a stage, they do the normal thing you would do. Hi, I'm so-and-so. This is what I'm an expert in. This is what I could talk about. I'd like to be on your stage. When you become one of the 2% of people that instead say, Will, I've been a fan of your show for a long time. In episode 250, when you interviewed so-and-so and they said this, I had to pull my car over because it was such a profound moment. Needed to hear. Think already, Will, when you received that message.
That's why I said yes, but I didn't know who you were until I even look around, and then I attended one event. Like, it blew my mind. Like,
we feel the
superstar. Want to be guest on my podcast?
Well, but it's heartfelt, right? So I don't reach out to anyone I don't feel that way about. That's how we keep it so clean. And what's beautiful, then you go, think about the difference. So the person receiving that, whether it's you, Will, as a podcast host and producer, or someone planning an event, they feel acknowledged, they feel seen. And then you back that up with, hey, we're on the same team. We both want to empower leaders. I was thinking about your upcoming event, and here's the way I think I could really make a difference for your audience. I could share this. They'll take away this. I'll help you sell your program. I mean, think about the difference. And you're one of then 2% of people that will ever reach out to someone. You're going to get a yes, right? Most, obviously not every time, right? But a lot of the time. And that's what differentiates. We are in a trust recession. Everyone's talking about that right now. And it's true. 94% of people don't trust ads, social media, traditional marketing, funnels. They do trust books because they have enough time with you to know that you're real. They understand your story, your method, that it's substantial, that it's not just a quick ad on Facebook. And this is about relationship. The antidote to a trust recession is a relationship ascension. And that's what we get to do. Make a relationship, whether it's with someone we're going to collaborate with in speaking or a client we're inviting to work with us. And only a few people will be willing to do it. Most people, it's too hard. But when you're the real deal, like everyone on this show, the people you attract, Will, then you already do it. That's already how you do life. So it's a win for all of us, in the trust recession, because we care and we do want to have a relationship.
And I think I love the fact that you talk about relationship and in building that relationship. And also the book itself, in my opinion, is social proof.
Yes.
Not many people could actually do it, right? Be brave enough to actually even write one, and be bold enough to actually share with the world. Because a lot of people, we have this, like, I would call it syndrome, that we're afraid people to judge us. Often we think about, they're gonna, like you said, they're not gonna read my book. Who wants to read my book? And I think that's the biggest roadblock, in my opinion. Like you said, the person has everything they needed, and the power that you and your organization do is to sort of open the lid, and let that magic that they had come out.
Yes, it's the greatest honor of my life.
Wow, must be so inspiring to wake up every day. Let's talk about when you work with leaders, so we could give our audience a context. As you work with leader, we know they're so busy, they don't have any time. That admin taking care of their calendar. How do you make them focus?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the
Get
brain
the book
training,
out of there.
yeah, I mean, the brain training helps. So we have things people can listen to, and I'm a huge fan of habit stacking. If anyone's read James Clear, so not adding to anyone's busy calendar, but instead sort of say, okay, you can fall asleep to this audio that's going to work on your brain, to help you focus, to expand time. And then I have techniques, even to the point that there's a primer, a writing primer you can do in the shower every day, if you can believe it, right?
Wow.
Everyone, most people take a shower every day, right? So imagine you're in the shower, and I teach a technique called story banking. So just to give everyone a really quick, Will, you said at the beginning, I believe it's 1,000% true. If you are already a leader doing something great in the world, everyone that you work with, Will, and listens to this, is that you already have your book in you. It's absolutely there. So I want to make it as simple as possible and take away the blank page. I don't believe in AI writing your book for you. First of all, it's not, you can't be on any bestseller list, or it's not a real book. So that's a no. However, we can do things both brain and with AI for research and some other things that are really helpful in expediting. So imagine that all you really need to do to have an amazing book, and we have a 100% success rate, by the way, not just for people finishing, but for hitting the bestseller list. So if people do our process, they will have a best-selling book, and they will speak where they want to speak. Okay, so SSS. This is really fast. You can do it in 1 minute. 3 S's. You could make a book or a signature talk out of these 3 S's. The first, your story. Will, you asked me about my story. What made me want to do this work? Everyone listening, as a leader, you have a reason that you're doing. Like Batman has a reason he grew up to fight crime, because his parents were killed at the movie theater by the Joker, if anyone knows superheroes, right? Everyone has their superhero origin. So you share that story so the reader makes that relational connection and trusts you, right? Why you have the expertise to take them on this journey. Second S is the situation. Then we zoom out, and it's like, okay, what's going on in the world around your topic? If you are a leader in climate change, or a leader in company culture, a leader in productivity, there's a reason. There's something going on right now in that situation. You could cite things, and this is where the AI is great. Have it do all the research for you, and then check that it didn't hallucinate, and make sure it's actually good research, right? Do your double check. But there is research for every one of you listening that backs up why what you're doing is so important, and what are the stakes if people don't address their culture, or create retention in their team, or innovate in their industry. So that's the situation. Then finally, the rest of your book, your talk, is the solution. Story, the situation, the solution. Every one of you listening could put together a book outline today. Like, we take people through it in 1 day. What the book idea, who it's for, what goes in it. And then the story banking happens. You're in the shower, and you just think, okay, today in my 20-minute writing wedge, I've written 4 of my 7 books with never more than 30 minutes at a time. Never. Because I had a small child, running 2 companies, all the things. And so you can, in the shower, say, okay, today I'm going to write a little bit more of my story, that first S. And you just think of what's the section of your story that you're going to, and by the time you get to that 20-minute writing wedge, and then the next day in the shower, you do the next story bank. Oh, today I'm going to write about the situation, and AI pulled those studies. So we block it in. We make it manageable with a wedge. We're not asking people to go leave their family and company for 3 months and write this book.
Go to a cabin?
In the log cabin, even though that sounds really fun, that's not the phase of life I'm in, running 2 companies and being a mom and a wife, right? That's not what I'm doing. But you can still get it done. You can still get it done. And we even have some of our editors will come and sit with our leaders. The CEOs is like, I will sit here with you, and we're going to get this. It's possible.
Well, thank you for sharing that framework, 3S. And as you were telling each of the step, I was like, wow, that's amazing. Like even like the story within you, like this superhero story, it's like, oh my goodness. It really is like you had that vivid imagination of what it's like. Thank you for sharing that. As leader out there are listening right now, who are thinking that this thing sounds fascinating and amazing, and I want to be a best-selling author, what are the 3 specific action that they should take from today to the day they reach out to you?
Yeah. So I would say play with that SSS framework, just quick bullet points. I'm talking 20 minutes max. Just sort of what's the story? What's my origin story and expertise? Have the AI grab you some statistics so you realize, oh my gosh, this topic is so important and vital. And there's studies that prove it. And then just quickly your solution, right? Your quick, what is the genius that you have that you're going to share with someone in this book? Just quick bullet points, 10 to 20 minutes. Once you have that, your subconscious mind is going to get excited. You're like, I have a book, right? And there's other kind of strategic, I like to reverse engineer a book so that people reading don't just stay readers, they become a lead or a client or speaking, but we embed that. So I would say if someone just bullet point the SSS and then decide who you want to work with, because it is crucial to have an editor or a coach or a mentor. I mean, all the great writers, Hemingway, Maya Angelou, they all did, right? So just decide, whether it's working with us or working with, just make sure you choose someone who understands how to get you the outcomes you want, right? Because a lot of times people, they'll edit your book, but they don't understand to reverse engineer strategically for the outcomes you want, whether that's lead generation or industry credibility or speaking. So just make sure to pick a structure, mentor that's going to be able to, get you, has the roadmap to what you want. But today, step 1, just play with that SSS and then decide what would it be like. Just do a little brain check. If I did this book, we get the books done in about 90 days. So just imagine that's, 3 months. And so think about, oh my gosh, does that excite me? Am I a scale of 1 to 10? If you're a 7 or over, let's do it, right? Go. And if people, certainly we're here for anybody that would love our support in that, but wherever you get the support, be in that top 3%. Because remember, that book saved my life in the Boston airport. Like if that woman had said, oh, I don't have time, I'm too old, no one cares, I wouldn't have gotten my miracle.
Wow, it's so inspiring. It's so inspiring. And the one I really like about you is your story is it's about how to transition to where you want to be, right? Like, and being able to sort of, once you get inspired, then now you need to take the next step. As someone listening out there right now, wanting to take the next step, what are your criteria to work with someone? Of course, you don't really take everyone.
Sure.
There's definitely, like if we talk about earlier, a little bit of the criteria of successful and unsuccessful. But before they even went in, what's your criteria to work with someone? I think I like people to hear that so they could connect with you and say, I got all the 3 criteria that you mentioned. I want to work with Sara.
Exactly. Well, we will be so honored. I'm sure anyone listening, all of you listening here with Will are already have all these in spades. The first is, right, going back to that vision. There really is a vision behind. We're really experts in not just helping someone do a book, as I said before, Will, but looking at the greater movement. I think of it as like the book that starts a movement or that expands a movement. So if you're listening and you have a vision that's the book is going to be a piece of you really creating a greater movement of change and transformation in the world, that's really what we're looking for, because that's who we can empower and support the most. And then that there's, like I said, at least a 7 on the 1 to 10 scale of desire to do it now. It's like you really want it. Maybe you don't understand, we don't need to, how, that's what I'm here for. But that you want this now. You're like, I do want that book done in 90 days. I can see how that's going to change things for me and the people I serve and our company. And so the vision, that there's a mission and a movement behind it, and that it's a now idea for you, so that we know we can, like, we put all hands on deck for our client. Like we're in with you, and we're making sure it happens. So making sure it's an immediate, like, now goal. And once you have that, we're good. We've got you the rest of the way.
For the listener out there, if you meet all 3 criteria, reach out to Sara. What's the best way to reach out to you?
Absolutely. Instagram, if people are on Instagram, I'm at, and I'll spell my name because I don't have an H. So it's SaraConnell. So that's a great way on Instagram. And then we have at Thought Leader Media on YouTube is our YouTube channel. And there are tons and tons of everything's free, of course. It's YouTube, so different trainings. You can get some of those brain activators I talked about there. We have all kinds of things, and you can just, leave me a message. YouTube or Instagram are perfect.
Thank you, Sarah, for your time. I really appreciate you being my guest today. Super impressive. Really love for everyone out there. You have a story in you. You have the mission and vision, and your 7 out of 10 scale. Go talk to Sarah. Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks, Phil. Had a blast. Thanks.